That really stood out for me yesterday, that statement released by the Sunday Times. So our question of the day relates to this. How have recent developments wherein journalists published falsified reports after being allegedly manipulated by people with ulterior motives changed the way in which you view the media? And remember, we will be speaking to the SANEF chairperson, Mahlase, later on in the show about this particular matter as well.
It was a very devastating move by the respective journalists, and the Sunday Times, of course, coming out with a big statement talking about these stories that are falsified. And but we'll dig to the bottom of that. That's also one of the trending topics, so we'll talk more about that. But this is the question we're asking you, and we'd love to hear from you. I know this is going to get South Africans very, very excited this morning to get involved in the conversation. At Morning Live SABC, hashtag Morning Live, that's how you get hold of us. Let's take a look at big stories of the day, and it certainly is going to be a big day. This is the one I think a lot are going to be looking at.
Indeed. The ANC's top 6 officials, they'll meet with the party's Limpopo leadership to discuss the involvement of senior provincial members in the VBS Mutual Bank saga.
Trade union NUMSA's national strike in the plastic sector is set to start today.
19 suspects to appear at the Verulam Magistrates Court for their alleged involvement in the Verulam mosque attack and the bomb scares at various KZN malls.
And the first witness in the trial of Nigerian pastor Timothy Omatoza will continue her testimony in the Port Elizabeth High Court today. You saw that in the news. And of course, it will again be stealing headlines today.
And just another one about that court case in Krugersdorp that kicks off today as well. About that church and that cult sort of thing that was going on within the church, where I think about 8, 9 people were murdered, or 7 I think was the number. But a very interesting one that we'll keep an eye on as well.
You alerted my attention to that, and what a story!
What a story that is!
It is an insane story. So I'm sure that's gonna also grab some of the spotlight. Let's look at the trending topics now. This was an interesting one for SABC News Unfiltered. Now this is the news show that launched last week with
hosted by Ridi Klabi.
Yeah, by Ridi Klabi. It's the second time that a guest has refused to appear or has cancelled at the last minute, and this happened last night. Let's talk about it.
Was already in studio. And you spoke to him last week.
Yes.
Advocate Mutau.
Yes.
Who was leading that investigation into what was going on at VBS Bank. And Matodzi was there. So Ridi spoke to him first, and then he just refused to go on. He walked out.
And he said because on the advice of his lawyers, decided no, that I don't think it's a good idea that he goes on and talks. Now that's quite strange, because he's been exceptionally vocal this past week. I mean, he held absolutely nothing back and was very happy to answer all questions. So I'm not sure what happened last night.
Maybe he'll tell us. Maybe he'll come back to SABC.
I'm not sure.
So, Advocate, if you're watching and you want to come back, please come and tell us.
Yeah.
Why were you not willing to go on and respond to what Mr. Matodzi was saying?
Okay. Anyway, so that's the first story, and I don't think we've heard the end of that one. That's the first trending topic. Second one, Sunday Times. Well, I think we alluded to it. That's very much so the focus of our question of the day.
What do you make of that? For me, it left more questions than answers, because if you release a statement as the Sunday Times and you say, well, we have allowed ourselves to be manipulated. Okay, when, how, which stories, what exactly were you manipulated about? Why aren't you telling us the detail of what exactly happened? Like with the TRC. If you're going to come clean, if you're going to put out a statement like that, I believe that there has to be full disclosure. In the absence of full disclosure, why are you doing it?
Yeah. I mean, put the cards on the table. Let us know. They're just, basically saying we apologize over false rogue unit reporting.
No, we need to know more.
I mean, which stories even photographs were wrong. Everything was wrong.
Tell us exactly which stories you are talking about and what was wrong. What is the wrong information contained in there? Which parts? Where were you manipulated? By whom?
By whom? That's the most important part. So they talk about giving prizes back, prize money back for awards that were won. And the 2 journalists obviously in question have they've left the newspaper now. And so it's all of these things. But I mean, I just think, it's very difficult to start believing. I mean, how do you believe the media with things like this? And here is another story which brings the media into question, and I mean, again, we can't get too deeply into it because it's still developing. Floyd Shivambu, Polly van Wyk, Floyd Shivambu, of course, denying any involvement in this VBS saga, saying he had absolutely no hands on any money, 10 million rand. And then, of course, Paulie van Wyk is a journalist who came out saying very much so that, Floyd received this money, and he's all saying, well, show me the evidence. And she's like, no, I've got it. But, so it's another tangle of war happening over the week. What a weekend it was.
What a weekend it was. But one thing we can be sure of is there will be developments in all of these stories.
Every single one of them. Yeah, indeed. Interesting times. So keep writing to us. We love hearing from you and your opinions bright and early on this Monday morning. So that's where we'll leave trending topics for now. Let's get you a traffic update. Rob Byrne, how are those roads looking? It was so misty out on the roads on my way to work this morning. I'm not sure if it's cleared a bit, but good morning. How are we looking?
Yeah, thanks, Leah. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, misty this morning. And what a weekend it was in terms of rain across Gauteng. I've got to show you some developments on that just at the end of this report. But let's show you what we're talking about this morning. Let's show you what the big stories traffic-wise is. Here's a look at Mpumalanga. It's the N4 out at Waterval-Boven. The road is closed. This is the Elands Valley section. It runs effectively between the Crossroads Junction and Machadodorp and the tunnel down at Waterval-Boven. Because of protesting, no way through there. Motorists are going to be diverted in the meantime over Schoeman's Kloof. So that's particularly important. If you're coming from Machadodorp, it's okay. You'll be taken off at Schoeman's. But if you're coming in from Mbombela, you might sort of get through to Waterval-Boven and then have to divert. So Schoeman's Kloof would be the option from the Montrose side. Just get onto that if you're driving in this morning from the Mbombela side. All right, this is a big story as well. Industrial action in Cape Town. My City Bus. We're waking up this Monday morning. We're trying to get to work on public transport services in Cape Town, and we're finding that My City Bus are few and far between. That's going to have a massive impact for commuters around Cape Town this morning. My City Bus, a very popular service these days, and industrial action this morning means severely restricted My City Bus services. This is just a developing story, and we'll get you more on that as we go through the morning as well. But that's going to have a really big impact, and you can see My City, due to industrial action, limited services currently available on the My City network. All right, here's a look at Durban. This looks fairly new. The N2 highway, there's a right lane closure both ways at the Higginson Highway interchange in the Chatsworth area. So motorists coming in from the south coast, coming up from Umlazi on the N2 northbound this morning, you'll probably find some backlogging traffic there. And here's a look, I was talking about the weather. This is what we saw at a couple of low-level bridges, low-lying areas, some subways on the weekend around Pretoria. And you can see, look at that, that's the video insert there from the Vanderboom Junction area coming out of Pretoria North and down through Vanderboom Junction. It was very severe. And, when you get those first heavy rains, I guess because of the lack of sort of maintenance on stormwater clearing drains, you really do get those big floods. And you can see how many people got it themselves in trouble this weekend. Now, let's find out how that weather is set for today.